Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin-Business Virtual Power Lunch. Please welcome your hosts, Tyler Price and Brian Magleby.
Hey,
welcome back.
Welcome back. Here we are in beautiful Mesa Falls, Ashton, Idaho.
And we just pulled up here and saw the falls here in Idaho Falls. Our guest speaker today was like, wow, he's never been here to Idaho Falls. And that was just absolutely awesome. And then, of course, during the show, we're going to have Mesa Falls. Chris, it's only about 45 minutes away before you catch your flight out of town. We might be able to take you up there and show you the beautiful falls we got in our background here. But this is Idaho, so good to be back here.
Yeah.
It's June 8th. We have got a great show on for today. We be talking business, won't we?
Yeah. Last week we spoke with Doug Sayer, founder.
Absolutely
him
great
and his wife
guy.
Did great things with Premier Technology.
Premier Technologies,
awesome.
Just absolutely a great company here in Eastern Idaho, and we were able to hear about his company and we got some great shows. We've got 3 weeks. We've got lined up for the next 3 weeks. We'll talk about the speakers we have coming up here right at the end of the show. But today we have. Let's talk about our sponsors first.
Yeah,
I'd like to put them in at the end, but we need to talk to them about at the beginning because they're so crucial for us to be able to be doing this. So.
BBSI, I mean, if you have HR needs, training needs, run payroll, whatever, these guys find employees, these guys and gals at
biggest
BBSI,
and best in the area by far.
They know what they're doing, yep. And Volpine, I mean, Ryan.
Everybody that's watching here is thanks to Volpine on our website, so
Ryan
thank you.
Just kills it, so.
Andex, we love the setup we have here at the Andex Studios here to produce our show. They do an absolutely great job. Andy, the owner, Aaron, and Haley, of course, they just keep us going here every week, so we appreciate them. And, of course, the Idaho Innovation Center and the Small Business Development Center.
Yep.
And we appreciate everyone's sponsorship of our show. Today, we held a workshop at the Idaho Innovation Center where we had these two guys, our guests that we have on the show today, and they put on a workshop. Absolutely phenomenal. We had a great turnout and a lot of great questions about patents and trademarks and all the copyrights and everything. So, as you're watching here, if you want to ask a question, we couldn't get to all the questions in the meeting this morning, so we've encouraged them to join us today and to put your questions in the chat box so we can make sure we get to those. But we've got a great show today talking patents and trademarks.
Yeah, really important stuff, right?
It is. Every business, you cannot protect yourself, and that's kind of the comment we used. It's better safe than sorry in dealing with patents and trademarks, and that's something that people's not aware of. We have a few horror stories that we're going to kind of talk about, some personal ones that we're going to talk about as we get into the show. But to lead that off, our guest today is Chris Schaffer from Kilpatrick Townsend, and he's a patent attorney. And he came in from sunny San Diego. He lives outside of San Diego, works for a great firm down there, and he has come in here to Idaho to specifically talk patents and the trademarks and things like that. And then at the end of the show, we're going to have Jack Briggs, and he's a local guy here in Idaho Falls. He's actually a tenant at the Idaho Innovation Center, and he's going to talk to us specifically about trademarks and kind of a specialty that he has. I love that picture that he has there with the bald eagle sitting right on his shoulder.
Yeah, that's how it is every day in Idaho.
Absolutely, a great picture there of Jack. And so we're going to start out with a little video here of Kilpatrick Townsend firm, and kind of introduce them, and then we'll welcome Chris to our studio.
Yeah.
great.
Well, great.
Go ahead.
No, yeah. So patent stuff, right? I mean, that's specialized. You don't just go to law school; you go to extra law school, right? Is that fair to say?
You take extra classes, but it takes a lot of on-the-job training, many years of on-the-job training to do it well.
Yeah.
And one thing I learned this morning that in order to be a patent attorney, you have to have had another degree. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you have to have a background in engineering or science. The Patent Office sets forth requirements for you to have certain science background because it's all about technology, right? And if you don't understand technology, you shouldn't be a patent attorney. So you have to have a background in science and technology. That has to be signed off.
At least an undergraduate degree, right?
Yep. Yeah, something equivalent to that.
That is awesome. We all going up there. Okay, we're not on the screen up here, so good. There we go. All right, now we can see what's going on
Brian likes
here.
to see himself.
Yeah. So tell us about the firm that you work with. You're from California. You're originally from Wyoming, and you live in California now. And what brought you to come see us in Eastern Idaho?
Yeah, originally from Wyoming, grew up there, and all my family's there. And love the area. Job-wise, though, California had all the technology jobs, engineering out of school, so went there. And what brings me to Idaho is I just love the people here, and I feel like these areas are kind of underserved for technology. So I come here. I've been to Rapid City, too. I went to undergraduate school there, and I feel like these areas are kind of underserved for, patent services. And there's a lot of great innovations here. There's a lot of great incubators here like you guys run, and they don't have access to patent services. So I feel like a real draw and passion to come here and help people get great patent service.
Wow. Well, Chris actually was he's got a child that's looking into college and actually looking at a college up in northern Idaho.
Go Vandals.
Go Vandals, up at University of Idaho. So we were able to catch him on a time when he was coming out here to look at some schools, and we caught him kind of on the swing. He'll be flying back to California today. So we appreciate having the opportunity to have Chris here on our show. So talk to us about Kilpatrick Townsend and what you guys focus on there as far as the practice there.
Yeah, so Kilpatrick Townsend is one of it's a large general practice firm, but the real interesting part of it is it has the largest patent and trademark practice of any large general practice firm. So we specialize in patents and trademarks. We have, I think it's over 300 patent and trademark attorneys, and it makes up the largest makes up the largest part of our practice. I mean, that's what Kilpatrick Townsend is. If you look at the main trademarks, I think we have some that we publicly we handle everything for Levi's, PepsiCo. We handle patents for the large companies like Apple, Google, Amazon. So yeah, that makes us to handle these large companies, but we also handle small vendors too, and that's where I really find the passion, because some of these larger companies, it's just another patent. To you, it's what you've worked on and invested your life into, and that's where I get my passion. It's a great firm that allows us to pursue, develop our own individual practices, and I like to have a mix of small inventors and large clients, because the passion from the small inventors and where you can really help someone make it, it's just so rewarding.
Yeah. Wow.
Do
you have a story and putting you on the spot, of one of your clients that started and came to you and then took it and now it became a big deal? Because you're right, it's like the heart, it's not that the heart wasn't originally there with some of these big companies that you mentioned, but the heart kind of goes away at some point. But the little guy or little gal in there putting their head down, making it work. But yeah, what's kind of a cool story that you've seen?
Wow, so many to choose from. One of the most recent ones that I'm pretty passionate about is, I don't do an obligatory plug here for me.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's called Popple. And I used to be an engineer. That's what really got me into this. I was an engineer for about 18 years, and I have some of my own patents.
15 of his own patents. That's nothing to shake a finger at. So.
Yeah. And I've been on the other side, and when I got some of my patents, I had no idea. I looked at some of the claims in the back. I had no idea what they were talking about, no idea what I was doing, and it shows, because the patents, some of them aren't very good quality at all. But one of the great stories is that I used to work at Boeing was one of the companies I worked at, and a client came to me, and he's in his early 20s, probably, I don't want to date him, in his 20s. And he's an engineer in some of the same buildings I used to work at Boeing.
Oh, nice.
And he says, I'm thinking about quitting my job because I've got this invention, Popple, it goes on the back of your cell phone. Like if you want my information, I can just give you my cell phone, you tap your cell phone to mine, and it'll transfer my information, my contact information over to you. Kind of and you can kind of do similar things with business cards, kind of a papered space. And I said, I'm not sure if we can get you anything, but he says, I've got this great business, it's growing, I really want to protect this. So we jumped into it, and lo and behold, we got him a patent. We filed track 1 with the patent office, we got it through, and about 2 weeks after we got him his patent, he went to the Y Combinator in San Jose looking for money because he wanted to grow his company. And he says, came back and he said, thank you so much for getting me that patent. I was looking at several different angel investors. One came through and they said, oh my gosh, you have this patented? And he ended up, long story short, he came out with about, I won't say, several $1 million of investment out of that.
Yeah.
The guy's 20-some years old and has his own business funded by VCs now.
Yeah.
Incredible. He's on the cover of, I think he was on Forbes or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story. So one of the things that we like to hear we have in throughout Idaho is that there is a lot of small companies out there, and what should people be aware of? When is the time that they need to file for a patent, or what is the kind of technologies that they what do they look at doing, and what is the process of getting the patent?
Yeah, like we talked about today, one of the most important things you can do is engage counsel early. Patents are a very complicated process, and it changes day by day, honestly, it does. It's thankfully, as a part of a large firm, we have people watching over as the law changes, and we get updates probably every month. We're updated on the state of the law. And if you're not up to date on that, then you're not getting the best patent service you can. So obviously, you as an inventor, you're not keeping up on patent law. So when should you look at filing a patent? You should talk to somebody as early as you can, because there are bar dates that I didn't know when I was an inventor. There's a bar date, like from your first sale, there's a 1-year bar date, and if you don't file for a patent in that time, you can be barred from ever filing.
No longer available.
Yeah. So look early, talk to competent counsel. And like I said today, make a intentional decision, and intentionally either don't file or intentionally file, but do it intentionally. Don't do it just because I don't have time or I don't understand the process, because ultimately that could really damage your business.
So I was watching this guy who's made a lot of money, and it's, to me, it's kind of, well, I'll ask you. So what he'd do is he'd go on and he would see people, hey, I'm here, this is my invention, I need money, if you invest, then I'll give you one of those crowdfunding sources.
Oh, okay.
So while they were doing that, he would take it and run to China or another country and start building it, and if it's a widget, and then he'd come back and start selling it like crazy until they told him that he couldn't do it anymore. And this guy made actually millions of dollars doing that. So do you see things like that where people, I mean, I guess you're trying to protect, but as someone violates a patent, then what are the steps, and what do they do to protect their position?
Yeah, so a patent is not, it's not the ultimate weapon. It's one weapon in an arsenal to protect your company. Honestly, patent litigation can be quite expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, just basic patent litigation can cost $1 million. That's basic patent litigation.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
actually, when I was an engineer, I went through some of that, funded some of that. It wasn't very fun. So there's multiple things you should do. Non-disclosure agreements to protect yourself. File patent applications early, like a provisional patent application. File it early. Make sure you talk to competent counsel. Talking to competent counsel is one of the biggest things you can do, because I don't understand all the details of the scenario there, but competent counsel can typically think through the different scenarios and figure out, based on patent law, foreign, and how to protect yourself the best way possible.
Yeah.
Good. In the class today, in the workshop that we held, you talked about provisional patents versus non-provisional patents. Kind of talk about what the difference is there, and why people would want to file for one.
Yeah, so one big thing we talked about, hopefully I got the point clear today, was after 2011, the American Invents Act, it's first to file.
First to file.
So if you're first to file, it's all about the filing date. One thing I want to make the point today, it's about the filing date.
Yes.
So if you file first and someone else files a day later, the Patent Office looks at your application, looks at theirs, rejects theirs, and you go through. There's no litigation, there's no arguing. It happens in the Patent Office and you're done. So filing date is critical. So when should you file a provisional application and a non-provisional? A provisional, think about it, putting a stake in the ground. I'm going to get a filing date. It's not going to be a beautiful application, but I've got an idea of what I want to protect and I want to file it. You've got a year from that time to really do your R&D, invest in it, develop it, and then file your non-provisional application, which actually goes in and gets examined by the Patent Office, so it has to have all the great drawings and the claims and everything like that. So file a provisional if you're trying to protect yourself, because it's first to file, and you want to try to file a provisional.
So before you talk to anybody,
before you disclose it,
you should be submitting for a provisional patent.
So I think you mentioned horror stories. So I do have clients. They disclosed the information. They went to go file their patent application, and they found out that the person they disclosed it to filed before they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they beat them to it, and they never got their patent.
Wow.
And that's how tricky the first to file is. So hopefully, if you can learn anything today, that talk about non-disclosures. How important are non-disclosures?
Yeah. So when I was, I look back at myself and laugh. 18 years as an engineer, I always felt like I'm going to go into this meeting. I've got a non-disclosure agreement. I'm doing everything by the book. I'm completely protected. And little did I know, I wasn't very protected at all. Don't get me wrong, non-disclosure agreements have their place. They do. You should absolutely do non-disclosure agreements every time you have a meeting. But if you think that non-disclosure, if you have the great idea and you're going to go meet with somebody who could be a frenemy, they could be a friend, they could be a competitor, and if you think that non-disclosure agreement is going to protect you, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It could protect you if you wanted to litigate for $500,000.
Yeah.
So the most important thing you can do if it's that kind of a scenario is file a provisional application.
There you go.
Could be a couple $1,000s. You got your filing date, you go meet with them. If they're unscrupulous, they run outside and they file. Doesn't matter. And you may never know about it because the Patent Office will just send them a rejection letter and your patent sails through the Patent Office.
There you go.
So what makes something patentable? Because you have people that probably have come in and say, this is what I want to do, and you can probably look at it and discern whether it's even patentable or not, I would assume.
Yeah, that's a great question because I used to think this too when I was an engineer. I used this scenario in our presentation today. This isn't the new light bulb. This is just a slight adaptation of what somebody else has done. This isn't patentable. You can only patent things like light bulbs, which is absolutely not the truth.
Nope.
I'd say over 90% of what we do are derivative patents. It's a modification, a manipulation.
Something stronger, better,
Think
faster.
of sticky notes, paper and glue. You put them. They're both known, but you put them together in the right way, you've got sticky notes, right?
Yeah.
That's what's patentable. And even in the light bulb, we think that was patentable. All he did was invent a new filament. The light bulb, the whole structure, everything was already patented. The patents were so old they'd been expired.
Wow.
So that's what's
And yet we all thought that Thomas Edison came to, he just patented the one part of it.
Well, that shows you the value. He changed the filament. He used carbonized bamboo. That was his innovation. The whole structure, the vacuum, the bulb, everything was already done. Making that slight change was a massive improvement. How many billions of dollars did he make off that invention? But he didn't invent the whole structure. He took that whole structure and just came up with the carbonized bamboo. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
So most clients are people that come to you, you feel that you can help them get patented.
Yeah, so good question. Back to your original question, is you need competent, first, you can do it yourself. You can go to Google Patents, and do a background search, and if it's not out there, that's a great background search, that's a great starting point. Then you go talk to somebody like me, an attorney, And I know the patent office well. I know the different art units. Someone just talked to me about software today. There's many intricacies in getting a patentable software. So then I can talk you through the pros and cons and what the likelihood is of getting a patent or of not getting a patent, and the likely costs and time.
Yeah. And what is it usually from beginning to end? So they put their stake in the ground to where it's an actual patent. What is or is it just vary?
The time?
Yeah, time.
Oh, that's another great question. The patent law is so, I learn new things about patent law every day. And the patent office has different programs that they come up with. They have a fast track program now, a track 1 program. And one of the great things about that program is not only does it it tries to get you to final action within 1 year. So from the date you file that non-provisional application, within 1 year, their goal is to tell you, yes, you have a patent, or no, you don't, you're completely rejected. However, I often find that it takes less than 6 months.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe even 3 months.
Wow.
I've gotten answers back. The second benefit is if you use the program in the right way, it can actually reduce your costs because it reduces the prosecution cycle time, because there's so much pressure at the patent office put on the examiners that they want to get it prosecuted and done, so they don't just kind of kick the can down the street. They want to get it taken care of and get it off their docket.
Yeah.
So it's, there's the first action interview program, which has now been taken out, might be coming back in. There's all these little programs at the patent office that are not well known, but can be of huge significance to an inventor. We could get you a patent, the right thing, you could get a patent. I just got one allowed within, before he even got I don't know if I say this, but before he got the bill for our work, the patent was allowed.
Was it really?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Honest truth.
That's amazing.
I got the notice of allowance before the bill went out.
So then you have a client then that has this cool widget that you help them get it patented, and they feel someone else is infringing on that patent. Then you would go to them and they say, hey, help us out, Chris.
So the widget's already patented?
Well, they patented it. Your client has a patent and someone else is infringing.
Okay.
So then they would come to you, your client, and say, hey, Chris, help us here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you would reach out to them. And is it to shut them down, or is it a lot of times to say, okay, you can keep doing it, but we got to take some royalty off of that? I mean, what would be the direction that you would give to somebody?
Yes.
Yes.
all those directions. Yeah, just like getting a patent. And the first questions I ask: why are you doing this? Why is this worth it to your business? Instead of spending money on marketing or R&D, why are you spending it on patents? Why is this the right decision for you? Same thing on litigation. I had a client, actually the one with his popple, had several people coming after him and saying, hey, I have a patent on this because he's been growing so big. And we go back to them and, what's the right scenario? What should we do for you? Should we go for royalties? Should we go for cease and desist? What do we want to do to protect your business? The answers are
could be any of the above.
Yeah.
Good, and I know that I'm glad that you mentioned earlier some of the names of the companies that you worked with, the Apples, the Amazons, and this is the different ones that your firms that work with, but you personally have worked with some of these names that you had here. But yet you still focus on why he sent me a letter and said, I would love to help people in Idaho with their ideas and their patentable ideas and stuff, is why he sent me the original letter and why we have Chris here on the show. But you will help those little people in rural Idaho, help them get secure their products.
Yeah. Well, I'm from a much smaller town than this.
Wow.
So when you say rural, it's varying degrees.
Yeah.
And I live in what I'd call rural San Diego too. It's way out of there. So like I said, I feel passion for the underserved areas, and I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a patent attorney in town here, but just exactly that. No one's here to help answer these questions. And even when I was an engineer, for a large company, I didn't know many of these things, and I made many mistakes. So I'm just out here trying to help the best I can. And I work with several different small incubators, one in Rapid City. And wow, the passion of the people, it's just incredible to drive through and to see their success.
Wow.
So that's part of what encourages me.
Yeah, we appreciate you looking out for the small guys.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, and I know you're kind of toying with maybe relocating, and just realize that if you want to leave the communist country of California and come to the free republic of the United States of Idaho, we definitely would take you.
he still claims some residency in Wyoming, so we
I
can't,
want to make it clear that I'm one of those people that I'm moving here because of the politics.
Yeah,
I don't want to bring any politics
any
here
politics.
from California. I
love
move here because
California.
of the politics.
We do love California, but no, and we would love to have you.
Yeah.
You would do well here, but we don't have a beach and it does snow, so just letting you know those two things.
Yeah.
You have
fishing.
hunting and
Yes,
fishing. And
you like that?
I'm good with
we
that.
got you covered.
Good, and we have sceneries like this in our bag
it's
here.
45 minutes.
And we're going to have lunch today at looking over the falls. So you can't beat what we do have here. And Chris, I unfortunately, just like in our workshop this morning, our time is somewhat limited. But is there anything else that you kind of wanted to share as far as sharing with the people that watch the show on patents, regarding patents? Anything else that you could emphasize?
Yeah, I think it's just important to be intentional about what you do with the patents. I notice a lot of small inventors come up and the ship's already sailed. I don't like giving the bad news that, oh, you've already sold this for 2 years, we can't patent it, we can't protect you. Oh, your competitor already filed a patent application on this after you disclosed it, we can't help you, we can't protect you. Seek counsel early. Do a phone call. I'll talk to you, typically early counseling for free as much as I can. Most patent attorneys will do that. Be intentional about what you do so you don't regret it further on.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, that's great advice. As we've done research, we have a lot of people at the Innovation Center that's come to us and ask us these, but there are people that do specialize it, but they're many hours away, Salt Lake, Boise, and things like that. So we appreciate you offering that as a service. Do we have his last slide or anything, Aaron, that we could put up that has his contact information or anything like that? But we, while you're trying to find that, Aaron, talk about this saying that we've had here. That's a quote that we like to end every show with, and then we'll try to get his contact information up at the end.
Yeah, it's the Winston Churchill. So the best part of this I like is it's the courage that continue that counts. Everybody I've seen that's been successful entrepreneur has that courage. They have the passion to drive on and because it's typically not an easy road, like the guy you talk about with Popple, not an easy road. Making the decision to quit your job, your livelihood, and move forward. How tough of a decision is that? Some people are doing this with kids at home, and they're quitting their job and pursuing their passion. So it's a courageous thing to do, and I really respect that. I think that's what defines your success is the courage to continue.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Chris. He's with Kilpatrick Townsend. There's his contact information. If you could want to reach out to him, I can tell you what a great resource he is and so knowledgeable about the patents and all of the different things that you can get in trouble with and stuff. We didn't get time to talk about a lot of the scenarios, but I can tell you, better safe than sorry in this. And if you have any questions on that, please reach out to Chris at Kilpatrick Townsend. His office's number's there, and his email. And please reach out to him and if you have any questions. And we appreciate you being here. Come! You're welcome here anytime, and we don't say that to a lot of Californians here in this
I
area.
understand.
But we,
I appreciate that.
you're always welcome here because of your wealth of knowledge, and thank you for sharing your time and your talents with the Innovation Center today, and with our audience here on Talkin-Business.
Sure.
We're going to end his segment here with another video that kind of introduces some of the things about what Kilpatrick Townsend does, and then we'll have Jack Briggs here with USTM talking about trademarks. All right. Well, welcome back. We appreciate Chris being here from California. But let's we've got Jack Briggs with USTM. What does USTM stand for?
Oh, that's not important. We don't have much time in here.
So we appreciate Jack is a local here. He's a tenant at the Idaho Innovation Center, and what a great asset he is. Of all of the, we talked about this in our training this morning. Of all the things that you could have, patents, trademarks, copyrights, and stuff. Probably the most common one, because it's available for products and services and stuff, is the trademark.
Yeah, I think it's most common because it applies to virtually, well, almost every business. I mean, businesses do have names that can't be trademarked because of the nature of the name, not the nature of the business, but some names cannot be registered because they're descriptive, generic, or they've already been taken by somebody else.
Yeah. And I had a personal experience with this just recently that someone was going to trademark our domain name at the Innovation Center, and so I had to jump on that and get that. But it can happen, and this is where it's in talking about these things, it's better safe than sorry. So kind of talk about why people should be getting and securing a trademark.
Well, I think just to nutshell it, there was a slide shown by Chris that referenced where the value in the largest enterprises is comprised, which is the intellectual property, which is their trademark or their patents. But if we'll look at trademarks and you imagine any brand of like Arrowhead Water. So let's take Arrowhead Water. They sell the company but say, you cannot use our labeling, you can't use our name. So where is it now?
Where's the value?
It's just water. You've got some machines, you've got some trucks perhaps, you might lease those, but there's no real value. The real value is in the name. And that applies to big companies, and I think it's easiest to see when you're looking at big companies like Walmart or Target or Arrowhead. But you've got to look at it that way from the small company's perspective, that really the value of your company is tied up in your brand and whatever intellectual properties that you have wrapped around that, whether it's slogans, whether it's copyrighted material. And if you look at your business from the perspective of building intellectual property, I think it gets put into its proper, its proper place. It's the hierarchy of importance. You don't want to put the cart before the horse. You don't want to spend a bunch of money trademarking things, registering trademarks and slogans if it's going to stop you from getting off the ground. Yeah. But it's got to be part of the day one overall plan as you move forward. And I think the first thing is seeing if the name that you've chosen is even available. Because, you know, some people might be afraid to look, like, I don't know if I really want to know. But that's like the very best time to know before you've spent 5 minutes drawing up your business card or on Vistaprint trying to put something together. Before you've spent any time or effort or money, find out if you could even, if you wanted to, get the rights to that name. Because if you can't and you're stepping on some larger company's toes right out of the get-go, you're just marching your way towards a dead end. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And it's, like we said again, better safe than sorry to check that, because
it's almost either safe or sorry. You're either safe or sorry. You might be able to lay low as like a dry cleaning place.
I love that line.
But you might be able to lay low. But if you've got aspirations to be bigger, the internet has blown everything up, and Facebook has blown everything up. They will find you. Yeah. There's no question. The minute you throw up a web page and it gets the Google indexes it, it's going to come up in a search. And if it's a larger company, they're paying people to look for people like you. Yeah. If it's a smaller company, it's just a matter of time before there becomes some situation and they send the simple cease and desist letter.
Yeah, so before you pick your company name, it's important to check with the USPTO and to make sure that, why should you go out there and wrap your vehicles and get business cards and checking accounts and everything like that, signs on your building, when someone could take that and tell you that you can't use that name?
Right, you tell your friends, even if you imagine it being a very small business, and you tell your friends what the name's going to be, all of that is expending emotional energy, and you're investing, even in your hopes and your dreams, you're investing in this name that you may not be able to use. Mm-hmm. If you just start off with a name you can use, you could put all of your hopes and dreams and your sketchings and your business cards and you could safely put it there, and that's the purpose of the trademark, is to protect people and give them the exclusive right to use that name or logo or overall look in the marketplace safely without fearing that competitors will pop up left and right using the similar names, and all of a sudden the marketplace becomes confused. Because I'm not sure if it's, if it's Ajax window cleaning, which Ajax window cleaning, because there's 10 of them here. Yeah. Which one am I supposed to call? So it's really designed to protect people. That's the purpose. So you want to go in protected.
Wow, I think that you need to trademark that name, either safe or sorry, because that's that. I mean, that right there really fits for things that we've talked about today with patents and trademarks. And so we like to end every show, just giving everybody, some really solid stuff that they can take away. And I hope that things that Chris and Jack have told you today, that you will walk away with understanding that you're either safe or sorry in this. And so Jack, we appreciate you being here. We wish we had more time to talk about, but Jack is here in Eastern Idaho, and he's one of our tenants, like I said, at the Innovation Center. And Jack has enough business that he has that he has people lined up outside the door. So, but we appreciate the time of Jack and Chris to being here. And so end out the show today talking about this quote that we have up here.
Okay, that's just a general life quote. Doesn't have really anything to do with business necessarily, but I think it applies to business. I use it on my kids all the time.
Yep.
But it's like, say what you mean what you say, and do what you say you'll do. And if you just do those things, life is really simple.
Yeah.
It's when you deviate outside of that it gets complicated, and you start having loose ends and things get a little hectic. But I think if you just stick to that, it's hard to find nowadays. It's harder to find nowadays. And I think today is one of the greatest times ever to be a small business owner, a small innovator. Actually, the big companies that are huge today, like Google and Amazon and Facebook, have actually, I think the reason they're so huge is that they're making it better for everybody as far as innovation and businesses. I mean, you can really get a business going. And I think if you stick to this, I think you'll stand out amongst most other businesses. Because even though there's more people out there, I think really a person with integrity has a huge, tremendous opportunity today.
Very good. Very good. Great advice from a great businessman here in Eastern Idaho, and I hope that you take the afternoon, Jack, and look at trademarking that either safe or sorry. So safe or sorry. So very good. Well, thank you again, Jack, for your time, and we hope that you've learned something today. We always go over a little bit in this show, but we found out that the average person, when we were doing an hour show, was watching 35 minutes. So we'd like to keep it around 35, maybe 40 minutes, and but doing it. But let's talk about the show that we have coming up next week.
Yeah, Tad Jenkins, local business guy, doing a lot of stuff.
Big Jenkins name here in the area. They have multiple different types of business. Tad has the Tad Jenkins Auto Group. Yep. We're going to be talking with him. And we will look forward to having Tad here. He's got a couple dealerships and some other things that he does. We'll be talking to Tad Jenkins. After that, we've got a guy that has a recovery business. He's an author. He's great. He's going to be a great guest. And then toward the end of the month, we've got someone from Senator Risch's office. So we're going to be talking a little politics about Senator Risch and what he's done for the state of Idaho. And we've got Amy Taylor that we look forward to having here on the show talking about Senator Risch and the things that he's done for the businesses, not only here in Eastern Idaho or throughout Idaho, but throughout the country, being on a great committee that he's on. So we look forward to some of the shows we have coming up. I got three great weeks coming up, and we appreciate you tuning in to Talkin' Business. Everybody, get out there and make business happen.
Let's do it.